Good day, folks. For all of us sitting here, how many of us know exactly what the situation in Manipur is? Hang your heads in shame, all you people who are nationalists and patriots of what's happening, including the Lieutenant General who served in this army, who's now residing there, has expressed that reality that it's nobody's country anymore. It's like Libya, it's like Syria, and that's shameful from coming from a retired Lieutenant General, and just retired, not long back. Rahul Gandhi went there yesterday after full permission from the Prashasana, but within 20 kilometers of stop because obviously some political decision at the top. And it's been made out here by Sambit Patra that that Rahul is irresponsible, and you saw these ladies there, and he's trying to tell everybody that it was anti-Rahul Gandhi. And actually, friends of mine who are Manipuri have sent me videos. They have sent me videos showing this placards greeting Rahul Gandhi, saying thank you for coming. And after that, he was forced to take a chopper to a camp. And I saw the videos released by Rahul, or not Rahul, by the Congress in that area, and it's heart-rendering sights. I mean, they need somebody to hug. They need somebody to tell them that they're still part of this country and that people care. But right, you had Amit Shah using unpolitical language for calling Paltu Baba, calling Nitish Kumar that. What about all the Paltu Babas in his government, whether it is Sindhya, whether it is Jitin Prasad? The Paltus are Paltus, even including Sarna, right? Why is there this problem in Manipur? I want to ask you this question. Then you had obviously good old Nada campaigning in Rajasthan. Modi had done his bit in Madhya Pradesh. Actually, people should not be allowed to campaign during times of this crisis, right? This is incredible. I mean, nobody really cares about. Rahul Gandhi has to go there, and the heart-rending appeal that Sonia Gandhi had to make. If you look at the history, they're blaming the previous governments. If you look at the history, the violence to this extent has not happened ever since 49. It's not. That's a fact. Whichever way whoever the government was managed it. In fact, they understood what the problem is there. Right? This government doesn't want to understand the problem because they're viewing the Northeast from two eyes. One is Sarna, who's been essentially the de facto prime minister of the Northeast, has been given take out that area. And the other is Ram Madhav and RSS. They're viewing it from that side. They want to just make this a homogeneous kind of Northeast with wherever. It's not going to happen. It's all about eventually it's been converted into a communal issue between Hindus and Christians, and should never have happened. So here you have chaos erupts as Rahul visits violence-hit state, clashes erupt in Manipur again, 2 feared shot dead, convoy halted, Rahul takes government helicopter. But somebody has to care, right? Like I said, Shah doesn't care, he's the home minister, this police belongs to him. There's absolutely nothing. When he went there, he said, stop, nothing has stopped. Shah targets Nitish, alleges opposition leaders' role in 20 lakh crore scam. What about all the scamsters in the BJP that you whitewashed and bought over? Even Sarna, his cases have been in cold storage. You have so many other people, right? But here's the other thing that you really have to worry about. What happened in the United States, and the fallout of that is what I want to say. It's, as Prashant Jha nicely puts it, snatching victimhood from a victorious something. And just a little readout, very important. But Obama is not the occupant of the White House, and Siddiqui's question, which was framed respectfully and in keeping with journalist norms, was deftly handled by the PM right at the press conference. That is why investing political capital and deploying heavyweights, including Defense Minister Rajnath, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, seems unwise, as is the appearance of encouragement of the rather uninformed and prejudiced attacks on Siddiqui. This is Malviya. All this does is shift focus from a diplomatic triumph. It gives ammunition to the critics of Indian democracy in Washington DC, who can point to the backlash and suggest that there is little room for criticism or questioning in India, and that the regime orchestrated a backlash against it. It forces the US administration, which has done everything to woo India, on the defensive and their own press space, with their own press space. It takes away from the incredible hard work and that went behind the visit and the attention that needs to be given to implementing the landmark joint statement, and it speaks poorly of India's ability to absorb criticism. Thin-skinned, right? There is clear contradiction between the liberal constituents of the Democratic Party in the US and the right-wing constituents of the Bharatiya Janata Party in India, and that tension will continue to play out in various ways in the years ahead. But both governments have been mature enough to recognize the larger stakes involved and ensure that the differences on civil liberties didn't become the dominant theme in state-to-state ties. Some of BJP's leaders and supporters will do their own party a favor by continuing with the same spirit of restraint. New Delhi isn't so weak that it needs to get rattled with comments by a former leader or a journalist. Nor is it so weak that it needs to manufacture a tale of victimhood even when it has a story of resounding success. Relish the victory in Washington rather than turning the narrative against the US to score political points at home. It is poor form, does not serve any national interest. This is all for you guys who were congratulating me yesterday. This is the other side, folks, right? And when you say this, what is happening there? Majority of Muslims travel out of Purula to mark Eid amid tensions. This is Uttarakhand, right? And how does that work with Eid? India celebrates Eid, Modi extends wishes. Now, both of them same side to each other. And then you have this. Near Mumbai, couple heckled for bringing goats home for Eid. This is what we've done, folks, to this country, beautiful country. And this is something that this government needs to be worried about. Deepening ties. Germany's ambassador to India, Philip Ackerman, and Barry O'Farrell, Australia's High Commissioner to India, on Thursday called on Congress President Malika Arjun Kharge separately. Add this to Rahul's secret visit with Lou in the White House. You can see that the foreign countries are sensing a possibility of change. So everybody better be ready. Bihar man lynched by cow vigilantes, 3 cops suspended for Nasik lynching cases. So this is, how do we pretend holier than thou? I don't know, right? And this is what Vikram Patil rightly writes, where love has gone. The hate sweeping India is changing its very demographics, driving the smartest young people to foreign shores and threatening the social fabric. He says, a craven and unforgiving interpretation of love jihad has planted its poisonous arrows in the soul of this country. Those who think there are isolated incidents affecting a handful of young people who have lost their way are horribly mistaken. The denial of the freedom to love is a driver of the suicide and homicide in India, which is now among the leading causes of death in our youth. Moreover, this mindless cruelty will ultimately hurt the future of Indians, for, to quote Martin Luther King Jr., injustice to one is injustice to all, and critical for India's national security and national interests. And like I said yesterday, when I gave you the spiel about the Predator, here is finally somebody picked up either on my piece or something. Do not fall in enemy trap to scuttle Predator deal, says official. Final price not yet fixed. Congress's claim rooted in ignorance. Like, they're right. Congress's claims are ignorated level. But what I don't like is it has no byline. It's Times News Network. It just shows that the wimpiness of our government to not name out China. It should have said, do not fall in China's trap to scuttle this deal, because this particular deal, the only person it really, really hurts are the Chinese. Believe me. Right. And just remember, if you remember after the nuclear blast, when our feet were held to the fire by Clinton and Talbot, right? Stroke Talbot. What did we say? Vajpayee's government and George Fernandez got up and said that these blasts were because of China. They named them. What does it take for India to finally name China? That is the plot we've lost in terms of our self-respect and national interest. But on the right side of this article, there was this: in a first, India clearly tells China to abide by UN CLOS on SCS. That's fine, but it should have said who the challenge here is. India to negotiate deal with US for 31 drones, says official. That's exactly what was going to happen. $3 billion is out there, right? My opinion, this piece of equipment is not less than 80-90 million, 110. And look at what all it does. It says Indian MQ-9Bs to have weapons and anti-submarine capabilities. Tri-service proposed 31 drones. CCS to clear. So it's not as if it's not there. Somebody said 80. But it's 31 because it includes the Navy and the Army. Army wants them up for Ladakh and that region. and the Navy wants them for a huge Indian Ocean. Folks, do you even know the size of the Indian Ocean? It's humongous. And that's the control, that's the choke point India needs anytime now that China disturbs us on the land border. Congress invokes Raphael, raises questions on predator deal pricing. Well, that's going to sort itself out. It's not going to go anywhere. And then you know that your federalism really, really is in trouble when you have this. TN governor dismisses minister, hits pause after outbreak. I mean, is he for real, this TN Ravi? You know, we've given unfettered power to these governors who are actually all, they were even in Indira Gandhi's time and Congress's time, you know, played by the center, but not to this extent, not to this extent. Anyway, folks, for our own sake, you got to worry about money. It's a national security issue. It is an issue about pain. It's an issue about suffering of our own people. You really can't give this government a pass. They've got to get there and sort this out. And it's going to take a whole bunch of sorting out because a lot of people are saying that we've lost money. And that's just shameful. And they are talking about dividing Manipur. Even more shameful because now the Nagas will have a case for Greater Nagaland, which will leave the Metis with just a small boat. That's it. And that's just going to be just not good for this country. 3 cheers, Jai Hind.